I was trying to be quiet. I didn't want to wake you.
Well, you did. Deborah grabbed a pillow from Thor's side of the bed, flung it at him left-handed, but missed. So tell me, where have you been?
I had to meet someone.
Thor fastened his zipper.
An A&R guy from a major label out of New York. He's leaving town this morning, first thing.
Really? Deborah flopped back down. That sounds like total bullshit. Why am I only hearing about it now? Why didn't you mention it last night? You said you'd come to bed as soon as the game was over. Honey, are you lying to me?
Of course I'm not lying.
Thor grinned, his whole face lighting up the way he knew she couldn't resist.
I only heard about the guy after you were already asleep. I got a text from Rudy, and I figured I had to try. Could have been the breakthrough, babe, after all this time.
Could have been? Deborah lifted her head.
Things didn't go too great.
Thor looked at the floor.
The guy said he'd be in touch, but...
That's too bad. Deborah sat up. But at least he tried. Now come kiss me before I run to the bathroom. Then we can sleep. Thor moved a little closer, leaned down, and pecked her on the forehead. It was the briefest of contacts, and he was only within range for a moment. But it was enough. Deborah could smell the whiskey on his breath, the dope smoke in his hair, and another woman's perfume on his chest. "Goodbye, Oliver," she said under her breath as she closed the bathroom door. It was the first time she'd spoken his real name out loud since she'd followed him from Birmingham to Nashville, and she suddenly realized she didn't care where he was pretending to have been. It was time to face facts. She was 2 days shy of her 20th birthday. Pregnant, broke, with no prospect of work. And her boyfriend was a liar and a cheat. In other words, it was time to cut and run. Deborah had never liked living in Birmingham. She'd been born in Wetumpka, a small, friendly town 90 miles to the southeast that was famous for its meteorite crater, and she'd never forgiven her mother for making them move after her father had abandoned them when she was 14. She'd spent the next 4 years dreaming of ways to get out. Her teachers at Ramsey High had talked up the merits of good grades in college, but she had other ideas. Her voice, Thor's guitar, a recording contract. Fame, fortune, and glory. It was her destiny. All she needed to make it happen was transport. So throughout high school, she worked a minimum of 2 jobs at a time at the jumble of bars and clubs around 5 Points South, not far from her mother's new house. She was too young for many of those jobs to be legal, but she quickly learned that if she made her skirt short enough and her top tight enough, her male bosses would happily pay cash and keep her off the books. She also learned that with the right kind of outfit and an open mind, there were other ways to earn cash from the male customers. When she finally put the Magic City in her rearview mirror 2 weeks after she turned 18, she never planned to return. I-65 was slick with water after an unexpected short-lived rainstorm, and the low fall sun was glinting off the surface as if it was plated with rose gold. Deborah could feel it drawing her northward, promising a fabulous new life of glamour and independence. Deborah's dream died the morning she realized that Thor had betrayed her. She finally had to accept that the promise of a rock star lifestyle was an empty one. It took her another couple of hours to organize herself after Thor fell asleep, and even then she didn't consciously plan to head back south. But after she'd driven for 2.5 hours, the tall buildings of downtown Birmingham loomed large through her windshield, and she saw that the sky was again obscured by clouds.